What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Tyler. Behind me we have the Sandworm. Over there we got the Sandstorm. And today, well, if you read the title, you know what we're doing. I'm nervous about it, washing the engine bay. But there's a lot of mud and dust in the engine bay, so I've seen people, read forums, did a lot of research. People do this. They say use low pressure, cover the majority of the electrical components and the air box and things like that. So let's roll the intro and I'll show you what I have covered so far. So if we come over here to the engine bay, I've got the fuse up there. That fuse is for this light. We've got the fuse box and the aux beam switch panel covered. We went ahead and covered the battery. Not necessarily that I think you need to cover the battery. I just have wires connected to it. We've got my garage remote right here. You guys have seen the video where I wired up the garage remote into the engine bay so it runs through the aux beam. And then we have those. Those are for my rock lights. Honestly, I'm not too worried about those. The rock lights are a pain in the ass anyways. They always unplug themselves when I'm on the trails, so I might get rid of those at some point anyways. And just FYI, the KC rock lights, overrated. Don't pay the money for them. Go for a cheaper brand like aux beam rock lights or something of that sort. The only thing that worries me are these plugs down here, which I'm not gonna spray them directly. The water will kind of spray on top of here and run off. I'm not gonna spray the hose directly into the engine bay. I'm gonna kind of just go across it, up across the top. And then I will stick the hose down there and kind of try to knock the mud off of the exhaust and all that stuff down there. All that stuff is prone to getting wet anyways. So I'm not worried about anything below the engine bay. It's mostly just up here I'm worried about. And then obviously don't spray directly into your air box. And then just FYI, today I did notice I do have the radiator hose leak, by the way, so we're gonna get that fixed. Badland Industries, we're gonna watch his video, fix that. And I'll link his video below if you guys have that radiator leak instead of letting your truck sit at a shop for 2 weeks. But yeah, we're gonna try this out. We're gonna see how it goes. Wish me luck. I'm gonna finish covering up some other stuff that I see, and then we will get started. Let me show you the pressure I'm going to be working with though. So I've got the widest angle nozzle on my power washer. So as long as I stand back, this shouldn't be too bad. Obviously you don't want that blowing away. That bag wasn't on anything, but that's what we're about to do. We're about to rinse this engine bay off, and then the stuff that I have covered I will hand wash with some of my spray and a towel. It's just mostly, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I might just try to stick the wand down in the engine bay and get the stuff underneath that gets wet anyways, and then just hand wash the top so I don't risk it. We'll set the camera up, you guys can see how I wash it, because I'm not sure how I'm gonna wash it quite yet, but we'll find out. Also, as you guys can see, I do have the truck running. I'm gonna keep it running while I'm washing it. Just in my mind, that keeps it safe, keeps it running, and then I'll keep the hood open to let it dry off. I don't have an air compressor. They say to use an air compressor to kind of blow the water off, but I will get some towels and clean up wherever water's sitting. But I think I'm at least gonna start below the engine bay and get that stuff clean and see how I'm feeling towards the end, see if I'm confident enough to actually spray off the top of the engine bay. and I'm spraying it from the side where the majority of the electrical components are, so I can kind of spray over those. Because if I sprayed on the driver's side towards that side, odds are I'm gonna get those wet, even with the bags. So I'm spraying on this side, that way I can spray over them. You can also see some of the engine compartment from behind the tires, so you can get some of that lower stuff if you reach behind the tires. And just so you guys know, when you see me pointing the wand actually directly into the engine bay, I'm spraying stuff that I know for a fact is sealed and I'm not gonna hurt. So everything kind of in front of the engine is like more your exhaust and stuff that's super sealed. So I have the lower pressure tip on my power washer. Honestly, I think if you have a garden hose, I would put the garden nozzle on there and put it on like mist and just mist everything, and then you can wipe everything off. Maybe a little bit stronger than that, but that's what I was trying to do, is kind of hold the wand upwards to let it kind of mist over the engine bay. But I've got the majority of it sprayed how I want to. It's the issue with these trucks, not necessarily the issue, but when it comes to cleaning them, it's harder than some of the older cars that you see people power wash. Even the Bronco, for example, the Bronco's engine bay is a lot wider and longer. And so it's still a 4-cylinder engine just like the Canyon, but there's a lot more space to maneuver the wand and everything like that. The Bronco doesn't need its engine bay washed yet, but because of that mud hole that we got this thing stuck in, it needed it. But this engine bay is a whole lot smaller than the Bronco, so everything's more compact. There's not as much space to really maneuver the wand. So I think a little hose nozzle that you can really fit into tight spaces would work better on this. For the most part, we've got this thing sprayed. I can't really spend a whole lot of time on it because I can't get the wand down where I want it to. So the rest of the time I'm going to be removing the plastic, kind of let it dry. I'm gonna get some towels and wipe off the engine bay, and then we'll see what else needs cleaned. I know the battery needs cleaned, it's caked with mud, and then the fuse box is covered in mud as well. So, but for the most part it's clean, everything's still running fine. We'll just hop in the truck and see if the engine bay or the if there's any check engine lights or anything like that that I might have set off. And then we're gonna make sure this light bar still works and make sure the headlights still work, everything like that. So we'll go flip some switches, make sure everything's still good. And then I'll check the rock lights, and then we'll go to drying off the engine bay, closing up the hood, or not closing up the hood, but hand washing everything else, and then we'll wash the truck. So it looks like all the lights are good. My rock lights are on. You just can't see them because it's daytime. My rock lights are good, even though I didn't cover those up. Light bar's still good. We should be good, and it's definitely cleaner than it was before. So now let me go grab some towels from inside. We're gonna dry stuff off, and then we'll see what else needs cleaned. Okay, from the time I went inside to now, pretty much this portion's already dry. This portion's getting there. So we'll pull the plastic off. You can see that this needs cleaned. And I had a lot of people comment about my weird setup. Yeah, I don't recommend putting this on top of your fuse box. It does look messy, I'll agree with that. The automatic shut off. And people have commented about my fuses up there though. Honestly, I think that's a good spot for them because they're away from the heat. They're away from anything moving. I don't see anything wrong with fuses up there. But I agree with the people that saying there's better spots for this, especially if you mount it in that space with that bracket you can get from Badland Industries. That's probably a better one. But yeah, anyways, everything's still dry that I wanted to keep dry. And now it's time to start wiping everything down and getting this engine bay all clean. So I'll show you, this is the before, and I'll check back in once we get this all clean. I would like to add, if you do plan on cleaning your engine bay, so I covered this and this fuse box. I completely forgot about this one, so make sure you cover this one too. So we're about to clean the engine bay, and this is a new product I might have out soon. It's a all-purpose cleaner, so you can use it for pretty much everything. So make sure you check out my website. Okay, so we've got the engine bay cleaned up, looking good. I will say the amount that I sprayed is everything you guys saw. I didn't spray a whole lot. Majority of the cleaning was hand cleaning, just because I was nervous with spraying. The only downside is there's like spots like this where you can't get to the mud, and then there's spots like down there you can't really get to the mud unless you want to take the chance of spraying directly into it. Or like this area, can't really get a towel to. I could have got a towel there, but there's a lot of spots you can't get a towel to. And then obviously I don't want to spray directly into that because of pieces like this. So it's not perfect, but it's definitely cleaner than it was. And then even down there, directly spraying is cleaner than it was. I can still see like some dust and stuff on that portion right there. I might be able to get my towel in there and wipe that off. We'll see. But yeah, for the most part, not perfect, but definitely better than it was. So now I'm gonna clean the rest of the truck. This is a short video. Can you wash your engine bay with a power washer? Yes, you can. I just did it. Truck starts fine. I'll remote start it for you guys just to show you. It might not remote start with the hood up, but I can go ahead and hop in it and show you. I'll just show you guys that truck starts fine and there's no weird noises now that I washed it. There's no check engine lights or anything, just that the hood's open, and that's it. And there's no weird engine noises. These trucks are just naturally loud for some reason. Little vibration from plastic right there as it comes down. And that squeaking you heard, that's done that since day one, so everything's good to go. So yeah, we've got a nice clean engine bay again. We've got at least the bottom sprayed out, so nothing overly crazy when it comes to mud on the engine bay, especially since I was able to get the power washer down there and knock off the majority of that mud. So definitely good to go. If you guys do this, it is safe to do so. Just make sure you cover those fuse boxes, and don't forget the one that I forgot. You definitely want to cover anything to do with fuses or electrical, so you might even end up covering more than what I did, but for the most part, everything I covered is about all you need to cover, plus that fuse box I missed. And you should be good to go. Just use lower pressure. I honestly recommend, unless you're spraying below the engine bay, all the exhaust and everything like that, that you can use higher pressure. But if you're spraying the top, I honestly recommend just using a mister setting on a garden hose, or even the shower setting. So those would work good. And then have towels ready, so once you're done, you can go and wipe everything off, dry everything, and just leave your hood open. And just, my recommendation is just leave the vehicle running while you do it. You don't have to, but just safe to do so. But that's it for this video, short video, just showing that you know, I took the risk to show you guys you can clean the engine bay. There's not really any videos out there of somebody doing it. Obviously I was very conservative with how much I sprayed in the engine bay. You can probably get away with doing more. I was just nervous doing it. But make sure you guys like and subscribe, and that is it for this video.